exactly what you're saying. And you're like using words to hurt. You're like using words like they're a knife. You're like sticking it in and like twisting it all around. That's a horrible image, isn't it? When it's playful teasing, it's a joke. When it's hurtful taunting, you know exactly what you're saying. You might make it out like it's a joke, but you're really making fun of someone's skin color, making fun of someone's religion, making fun of body size, making fun of hair, making fun of family dynamics, things that we really care about. And you might like, hey, I'm just joking, but this is no joke. This is stuff we don't joke about. When it's hurtful taunting, there's an imbalance of power. I make fun of you, and you shut up and you take it. One direction, imbalance of power. And if I ask you, hey, do me a favor, stop making fun of my big banana nose. Listen, it's getting old. Enough of the big banana nose jokes. Stop already. When it's hurtful taunting, what do you make fun of? My big banana nose, exactly. You don't listen, you don't follow what I'm saying. I asked you to stop making fun of my big banana nose, and instead you make fun of my big banana nose even more. That's hurtful taunting. There's a difference between playful teasing and hurtful taunting. I'm going to put on the screen a situation. And I want you to think, is this playful teasing, which is okay, or is this hurtful taunting a form of bullying? Okay? So I'm going to put this on. I'm going to read it to the audience back in the classrooms in case they can't see it or something's wrong with the video. So the situation is playful teasing or hurtful taunting. As a new student, Bart was still trying to fit in and make friends. At lunch, someone slid a whoopee cushion on Bart's seat. It made a farting sound when he sat down. The other kids started calling Bart the fart. Bart asked people to stop calling him Bart the fart. Now they're calling him Fathead Farty. Bart is miserable. Call it out. Do you think this is playful teasing or is this hurtful taunting?
Hurtful taunting.
Almost everyone said that was probably hurtful taunting. And I agree, this was probably hurtful taunting. Let me ask you in the audience, classrooms, I can't do it with you, but people here in the audience, what are the indicators? Raise your hand and wait to be called on before speaking out. What are the indicators that are letting you know that this is probably hurtful taunting? Probably hurtful taunting. Go.
He's asking them to stop.
He asked them to stop. Did they stop calling him Bart the fart?
Yeah.
Well, kind of, they did. But now they're calling him Fathead Farty, which is a lot worse. They didn't really stop at all. Instead, they upped it. What else is letting you know that this is probably hurtful taunting in the back row?
Because he says that Bart is miserable.
Amazing, duh. Sometimes people miss this. Whoa. Bart is miserable. Good. What else is letting you know this is probably hurtful taunting? Guy in the back.
He a new student and they not friends with him yet.
Yeah, do you remember what we talked about before? That bullying is an imbalance of power? He's a new student. He doesn't have friends yet. They've got friends. There's a bunch of them, there's one of him. I mean, you do the math. Is this a fair fight? There's a bunch of them, there's one of him. Is that a fair fight? No. Imbalance of power. He's new, they're already established. He asked them to stop. They kind of stopped, but they actually even got worse. And Bart is miserable. Probably hurtful taunting. We're starting to come down to maybe our last 10 minutes together. I'm going to put another one onto the screen. This one is playful teasing or hurtful taunting. Debbie is 6 inches taller than the next tallest student in her grade. 2 girls sitting with a bunch of other students say, "Hey, Shorty, how's the weather up there?" Debbie rolled her eyes and half smiled at the lame use of humor. Then one of the girls said, "Debbie, come over and tell us about that basketball camp you went to." Debbie sat down at the table and said, "Okay, little people, let me tell you about meeting Shaquille O'Neal." Okay, call it out. Playful teasing or hurtful taunting?
Playful teasing.
Okay. I heard almost everybody say that this was probably playful teasing. Raise your hand and wait to be called on before speaking out. What are the indicators that are letting you know this is probably playful teasing? Yeah, it's going both ways. They called her Shorty. What did she call them? Little people. Kind of going both ways. Good. What else is letting you know that this is probably playful teasing? Over there. You.
Because there's not an imbalance of power.
There's no imbalance of power, okay? They're about equal. They're about equal. Good. What else is letting you know this is probably playful teasing?
Oh, because we say that she half smiling.
Yeah, be careful of the half smile. I'm imagining Debbie kind of doing something like this. That's the best you have. That's really, I'm imagining something like that. And I agree. In this case, I don't think that she's too bothered by it. But be careful. Have you ever seen somebody when they smile, even though they're really bothered, they're like, I don't know what to do. And, they're smiling even though, it's not always the case that a smile means they're okay with it. But in this case, I do agree with you. I kind of imagine Debbie like, one of those. Okay, what else is letting you know that this is probably playful teasing?
She said it was humorous.
She doesn't seem to be bothered by it. It looks humorous for her. It seems humorous. Good.
She comes over there and starts talking to them.
They actually invite her over to the table. They actually call her over to the table. If they were like, hey, Shorty, how's the weather up there? Yeah, go sit with the other circus freaks, you big moron. Ooh, whole different feel about that, isn't it? Yeah. They actually call her over to the table. Go ahead.
Is that with the lame use of humor?
And with the lame use of humor, sometimes we are bothered. Even though it's a lame use of humor, we can be bothered by it. I agree with you, though. Debbie does not seem bothered by it. She's like, that's the best you have. And look, the conversation moved on. They start talking about basketball camp and Shaquille O'Neal. If they were like, hey, Shorty, hey, Fatty, hey, moron, hey, little people, it would be back and forth. It would be equals, but it would still be wrong. You get it? The conversation moves on. They start talking about Shaquille O'Neal and basketball camp. All right. You guys have been a great audience. We're starting to come down to our last few minutes together. We know that bullying is that abuse of the difference in power. Somebody has more power, somebody has less power, and those with more power really are abusing those who have less power. As the crowd, as the bystanders, you're the ones that see bullying, you're the ones that hear bullying, and you're the ones that could stop the bullying. You have choices here. You can not join in, remove yourself. You can tell the bullies to stop. You can separate the bullies away. You can separate the person being bullied away, or you could report to a trusted adult. I'm going to tell you my last story, and then I'm going to kind of finish up. And this is a little bit more for the high school students who are listening. Reporting to a trusted adult, we're concerned about going to adults, and I understand that, and that makes sense to me. When I was growing up, I lived in Brooklyn, New York, as I mentioned to you. And as I told you, Brooklyn is a really tough neighborhood. And I went to the high school that I went to. When I went to that high school, it was the second largest high school in America. We had almost 7,000 students there. All right, it was a big, tremendous high school. You might not looking at me, but I grew up poor. I grew up in a really tough neighborhood, and I used to run track. Okay, I used to be a runner. I was really fast. I was a fast little guy, and I would go running track. But at my school, we were so poor, we didn't actually have a track that you could go running around. So when I would have to go running, when I'd have to go practice, I had to go running through the streets of New York City. And I had a female friend. She was not my girlfriend, okay? I want to let you know. She was a female friend. She was a girl who was a friend. She was not a girlfriend. And she was really fast. She was on girls' track. She was one of these girls who had like these big, long legs. She looked like a giraffe. She just, and she was really fast. And I liked running with her because she was a challenge. She was really fast. And so we would go running together, and we'd go running through the streets of New York City. And this is like August, September, the beginning of track season, and I'm in 9th grade, all right? So I'm new at high school. I'm in 9th grade. I've been on track team now. I'm on track team, and she and I used to go running. And in August and September, it's hot, all right? And so we used to go running in shorts and T-shirts and stuff like that. And she started dating a new guy. I didn't care that she was dating the guy. I was not interested in boyfriend-girlfriend stuff. I didn't care that she was dating the guy. I didn't really know the guy. He was not a friend of mine. He was just some guy that she was dating. And they'd been dating for a couple of weeks, and all of a sudden, when we would go running, she'd start wearing track suits and jogging suits and sweatpants, and I was like, aren't you hot, man? I'm dying out here. And you're wearing sweatpants and track suits and jogging suits? And she was like, oh, no big deal. I like wearing it. It makes me feel more comfortable. I don't, it's fine with me. And I'm like, I don't care. You do what you want. It's just for me, I would be kind of hot wearing that. Not hot like ooh, hot. Not like that hot. Hot. So one day, we used to go to her house and we would change, and get out of our school clothes, and we would go to her house. She lived closer to the school. I was not very close with my family in high school. We got better since then, but in high school, I wasn't really close with my family. So we would go to her house and, change. And, one day I'm in her room, and she's changing. I was not watching her, okay? It wasn't one of those things. She was off on the side. We're talking. I'm looking the other way. And she's changing, and she had shorts on, and she's putting on her sweatpants. And I look over, and as she's talking, she's kind of facing away from me, and I look on the back of her arm, and there's this big, giant black and blue mark. I mean, really, like the size of your hand. It was gigantic. I'm like, what happened to you? Why do you have that big mark on your arm? And she's like, oh, you know me. I'm such a klutz. I fell down. Oh, I bumped into something. No big deal, no big deal. Oh. I didn't care. I didn't really care. I was like, all right, fine, you're a klutz, big deal. And we went out running, and, we did our stuff. And again, we used to go running all the time. 2 weeks later, I'm at her house again. We're changing, and she's putting on her sweatpants or a jogging outfit or whatever. And I'm talking to her, and as I'm talking to her, I kind of turn around, and she's pulling on her jogging pants. She's already got shorts on, but she's pulling on her jogging pants, and on the back of her thigh was, a giant black and blue mark. Really huge. And it was like, really big, and I'm like, what happened to you? What's going on? And she's like, oh, you know me, I fall down all the time. I'm a klutz, I bang into stuff. It was like, this seems strange to me. And it was just, and I'm like, did you figure it out? Did you figure it out? It was the boyfriend. It was the boyfriend. The boyfriend was hitting her. The boyfriend was hitting her. And she was lying about it because she didn't know what to do. I'm in 9th grade. This had never come up for me before. I had never had this problem before. I did not know what to do. And like I said, I was not close with my family in high school. I'm now close with my family, but in high school, it was a tough time for me. It was a tough time for them. We did not get along. For me, my family was not a trusted adult that I could go to in high school. So you know who I went to? I went to my track coach. My track coach was a young guy. He was a cool guy. I went to this guy because he, for me, was this trusted adult. I knew the boyfriend was hitting my female friend. Luckily, the track coach was a cool guy. He actually helped us. He got her taken care of, got rid of the boyfriend, got it so that she was in therapy, and was actually able to help. For some of us, our families are not the trusted adults that we can go to. That's what it was for me. Find another trusted adult. It could be a coach, might be a teacher, could be a pastor or a priest. It could be someone else. It could be your best friend's mom or dad. They are also trusted adults. So luckily, we were able to take care of that situation. Bullies don't continue to just push guys into lockers or be mean to other girls. It actually becomes the early signs of dating abuse and early signs of domestic abuse, dating relationship violence. So bullying kind of changes a little bit there. But you can stop it by not joining in, removing yourself, telling the bullies to stop, separate the bullies away, separate the person being bullied away, or reporting to a trusted adult. You all have been a very good audience. Would you clap for yourselves, please? In a minute, people back in the classroom, people here, your teachers are going to give you directions on what to do, where to go. Give yourselves a round of applause. And we are out. Done. All right, good audience. You guys were very good. How do you feel about being famous and being on TV? Can I get your autograph, please? All right. Teachers are going to tell you what to do. Principal's going to give you direction. Wait for their direction. Again, clap for yourselves. You did it very good. Look at your principal, please.